Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Town of Litchfield Recreation Commission meeting. Today is Tuesday, September 14th at 7:30 PM. We're going to start off by doing a roll call attendance. My name is Steve Gannon. I am the chair. Vice Chair Andy Ruggles.
Present.
Secretary Peter Ames is not here just yet, but I do expect him. Member Mike Bosky. Sorry, man.
Here.
Here's Peter Ames. Member Chris Burns.
Here.
Board of Selectmen Representative Steve Weber.
Present.
We're gonna alternate Judy Brennan,
Present.
and we're gonna appoint Judy as a full member for tonight's meeting. Absent tonight is alternate member Jeff Town and member Andy Collins with prior notification. All right. Consideration of previous meeting minutes. We have one to review, July 13th, 2021. In attendance that evening was myself, Mr. Ruggles, Mr. Ames, and Mr. Bosky. Were you able to review those meeting minutes?
Yeah.
All right, can I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from the 13th.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, we'll just do a hands up vote. All in favor of approving the minutes? 4-0-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Could do his math again for him.
Yeah, you have to ask, opposed, abstain.
Oh.
Because we do have,
Well, there's only four of us.
403.
There was only four of us in
We
the
have
meeting.
7 voting members
Yeah, but
tonight,
there's
right?
only 2 present who can abstain, so.
All right.
Oh, no, Judy was.
No, because
I
No.
would abstain
She
because I
can
wasn't on the
abstain.
commission.
That's so
Yeah.
You were.
she would still abstain, yes.
Okay. All right. Do you want me to go through it properly? Okay.
I'm just saying,
all
I
that
mean,
are-
if we're going to do it, it's.
Okay. All that approve, please raise your hand by saying, or all that
All those opposed.
all those opposed, and all those abstained. 4-0-3.
Long way around the bottom.
All right. Now I'm going to change your name again.
It's a weekly thing. We're all set.
All right. Next, we'll go into public input. Just a reminder that we are no longer virtual. You must physically attend our meetings to participate in public input. Only exception is if a member is quarantining for COVID reasons, we'll work with the IT manager to establish a WebEx. But if you wish to address the board, you must be here personally. First thing we're going to do is on the agenda is 603 Cornhole. We have Mr. Curtis Simpson.
Good evening.
are
My
you?
name's Curtis Sampson. I'm a Cub Scout Master for Litchfield Pack 11. I was asked to read a little note here from 603, and 603 Cornhole would like to present a check for $895 to the Litchfield Recreation Board resulting from the sale of tickets for the Recycled Percussion Chaos and Kindness Cornhole boards. We would like to extend our thanks to Bruce and Stacy Taylor, owners of Wicked Cornhole, who donated the 2 sets of cornhole boards at no cost. Thank you, Sean Haley and Brian Fletcher from 603 Cornhole.
Ticket. Thank you, Curtis.
Thank you.
Those are-
Thank you.
I don't know if anybody got to see those boards, but they were very impressive.
They were awesome.
And they raffled one pair off, and then the other one they gave to Recycled Percussion.
Nice.
Thank you, Curtis. All right. I was expecting to see David Allen here, but he's not. Next is we have an alternate position. Michelle Gill, is she here? No? Okay. She expressed an interest in becoming an alternate member. All right. Next will be facilities and field requests. First is on Saturday, October 2nd, the Litchfield Fire is having an open house, and they requested to use Sawmill parking lot for overflow and shuttling people as needed. I looked at the schedule, and I think there's a practice going on that day, right?
There's 2 games going on that day. It's a Saturday, correct? 10-2?
Yeah,
Yes.
10-2.
There's 2 games that day. One's at, I think, 12. I think they're 12:30 and 2. I checked last night to make sure.
Okay.
So there's going to be some overlap. You know what I mean? Again, we've never voted on
Parking.
parking lots. You know what I mean? There will be some overlap, but I think if, the assumption is they'll want to use the upper part of the
Right.
parking lot. I mean, by the tennis courts and down, there should be plenty of parking, so it shouldn't be a problem. In terms of conflicting with the games. So unless there's some tie up at the entrance where people can't get in and out easily, but I don't see that being a problem.
I would agree. I would expect people to come and go throughout the day, but I don't think there's going to be an onslaught all at
Yeah,
once.
it's only 1 to 4, the
Right.
open house.
It's 1 to 4.
1 to 4, yeah.
Are the games record travel?
Travel.
All right. That's not something that we have to vote on because we don't typically manage or vote on it. So I did let them know that there was a game going on that day and just to be aware of it. I don't know what kind of turnout they've had in the past, so it's hard to say. All right. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, let's go to pickleball at Talent. Come on up, gentlemen. You're looking to use pickleball, actually get back into playing pickleball at Talent Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to about 3:30 p.m. Some weekends as available. They've been long-term members of using Talent for pickleball. How about,
Yeah, so you received the application that was sent in? Okay.
Yep. Received the application. I believe you attached your certificate of insurance on it as well.
Yes.
And you don't have anybody under 18, so you don't have to go through any background checks with the
Yeah,
camps.
we're well over 18.
Can you introduce yourself? And
Oh, yeah. My name is Bruce Rotenberg. I'm a member of the pickleball. I'm on the board of directors.
Okay. So typically your games are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 3:30 during the weekdays, and then once in a while you want to be able to use Talent Hall for a week, and I assume to bring another game in, or
Yeah, in the past, I mean, we've played at Talent Hall for up until the shutdown. We'd been there for like 7 years. And generally, we had the access to Talent Hall, and we scheduled sessions from 8:30 to, afternoon, Monday through Friday. And we did have, more often than not, a time available on Saturday and or Sunday. And we're certainly hoping that would be the case when, we can start playing again when Talent Hall is available.
okay. Right now, Talent Hall is open, but it's restricted to a maximum of 50 people. But I don't think you have 50 in there at a time.
We have a maximum number of players of 12.
Okay.
And what we would try to do is when we have the schedule set up, have 12 people play, let's say from 8:30 to 10 or 10:30. Those people will be leaving as the next session of 12 people come in. So we're hoping that it wouldn't be more than 12 people at a time. There might be a little overlap as one session leaves and the next session, enters to play.
And how long would you be looking for it on a Saturday or Sunday?
Well, we would hope to have at least one session of 2 hours at some time on primarily Saturday morning, if possible, and the same thing on Sunday. But I know in the past, we did have access, I'm guessing it was Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon. It varied. I don't know exactly what, but you didn't check our last schedule when we were playing, a year and a half ago.
One thing I do know that we do have scheduled in there is baseball and softball clinics
Right.
run until about noon.
We always worked around.
We do?
Yep.
We don't
Well, not
yet.
yet,
We
but
don't yet.
previously.
Historically, baseball would go
Previously.
in the morning. There was a little bit of a gap, and that's
Yeah.
when pickleball would come in,
Right.
and then
exactly.
softball would follow.
So
Because there was
Gotcha.
times we were cleaning up, and the pickleball people
Yeah,
would come
so-
in and set up.
We worked around the schedule for softball and soccer or whatever the
Right.
events were.
historically, what you mean, and this is not just for pickleball, but for everything in Talent. We've been scheduling quarterly as we go along because of different sports have different seasons in there. So, you know, what I mean, usually it was once a quarter, there'd be, Andy was the one doing it, where he'd schedule a meeting and have everyone submit their times for that time period and try to get together and work things out. I mean, pickleball used to get, you know, pretty much if Saturday and Sundays were free during this, whatever season it was, pickleball could have their pick of times. Basketball season is always the most complicated season in there because, I mean, they naturally use it the most because they don't have anywhere else to go,
They take a big
especially
part
now.
on Saturdays.
Yeah. So they were usually Saturday mornings because for like instructional basketball from like 8 to noon or 8 to 1. And then pickleball would always come in after and use it.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, pickleball the entire time, you know, if there was an event or something and you know, they had to be a Saturday off, pickleball was always more than willing to be like, yeah, no problem. Just let us know whenever it is and we can reschedule around it.
Yeah.
Um,
We always worked around whatever other
Correct.
activities were
Right.
scheduled or special events, whatever. We just need to know what those
Oh, yeah.
activities are so we can plan our schedule and
Mhm.
let our members know.
You know what I mean? So that's been the history behind the scheduling of town hall because, like, again, basketball will come in sometime in October and be like, this is what our schedule looks like. They don't know it now because they don't have a number of teams or whatever. I have heard that LMS isn't going to be letting them use the basketball courts there again this year, to my knowledge so far, that they're being told that LMS isn't going to be using the court. They're going to not let outside places use courts. So I'm sure that basketball at some point is going to come to us when they have their registrations and tryouts and know how many teams they have looking for hours too. So, I mean, it worked well when we were doing the quarterly scheduling because of the changes in seasons. You know what I mean, softball and baseball usually didn't come in. Usually the fall was off most of the time and they'd start up January. So, you know what I mean, there'd be a shift in scheduling then. You mean, it's usually a lot of Sunday
Sunday
stuff.
mornings was the only
Yeah.
time we
Yeah,
really
it was
used it.
So,
And we used to get the request in October.
Right.
For the quarterly meeting.
Correct.
I think one year I said to September, you guys held it off to October.
Yeah.
So
so
you did them all at once.
I mean, that's just been the process in the past. So, you know what I mean, if we're going to change that process, then we probably need to let, especially basketball know because as the main user of it, you know what I mean, for the next couple months, I don't see, if we're trying to schedule through the end of October, then I don't see a issue with, you know, figuring out whatever time works best for pickleball, even on weekends, and then revisiting it when basketball comes back. And if we need basketball in here sooner, then we should let
we should
them
probably-
know.
I'd like to get them in sooner so that
Right.
what we're trying to do is get a schedule going that's online so you can actually look at it and say, you know, Talent Hall is free from this time to this time. Maybe we can get in there. And
Yeah, I mean, there has been an online schedule in the past, I believe, that we looked at.
Yeah, we were
Just
using.
for talent there was.
It was
Just
for
for talent,
talent,
yeah.
but I think we're trying to do like a more universal schedule now. So for all the fields and for
Okay.
talent, something that's
Yeah.
more accessible because even that schedule before was a little bit, it was okay, but didn't really work the greatest, we'll say.
It was better than nothing.
Correct.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's- Thanks for the information, Mike. Definitely. I'm glad you're here with the history of it.
And you are looking to start right away, like the next couple of weeks.
Well, we've already had members that have been inquiring as to the availability. Now, right now, I would say people would want to use it if it was raining or something like, but still, most of our members are still, like myself, are playing outside. But generally by October, when it starts to get cold,
Yeah, makes sense.
we would start using Talent Hall as available.
All right. All right. Put it for a vote. Anybody want to make a motion to allow pickleball to start utilizing Talent Hall again, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 3:30 p.m. Some Saturdays and Sundays when possible.
I will make a motion to allow pickleball to use town hall Monday through Friday during the allotted times and Saturday and Sundays when available.
Okay. We need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Judy. Any more discussion?
Just one comment. I just want to say, pickleball has had a really good track record of just being very respectful of talent,
Yep.
respectful of the schedules. I just want to acknowledge that and thank you for that.
Oh,
So
Thank you.
happy to support this and happy to have you guys back in town.
And thank you for all the donations back you guys have done over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
We do have one thing going on now that I don't know if you've been down there, but the International, I'll actually discuss it a little bit later. Air National Guard is down there replacing the back deck. So that when you come in, I don't know if you use the back deck at all or do you use the front doors?
Primarily, well, if the back deck is not available, then we would let our members know that they have to use.
Well, it will be within the next week or two,
Oh, okay, that's fine.
but there'll be a nice new deck when it'll be safer.
So at this point, if we let our members know and start our schedule effective, say, beginning of October, that should be okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And hopefully by the beginning of October, there won't be any issues with using the back deck if needed.
It should be finished by then.
Because most of our members use either the front or the
side.
side door.
Side doors.
So,
Have the code accesses been
yeah, that's what
authorized?
Yeah.
we're gonna have to do new ones because I think they're all,
I think
Unauthorized.
Correct. We only had a handful of them that were authorized after COVID hit, so nobody would go in.
Oh, that's a good. Now, prior to the world changing, we had there was one code for all of our members to use to enter through the front. That code is still valid or not valid?
We'll have to check it. Some of the codes were reset. Some of them were completely eliminated. So I'll look at the list. We'll get you a new code before October.
Okay.
In the same,
So we'll get a new code, or what if, you're saying if the current code it still works, will it stay the same?
I'm gonna say this, I doubt that the current code still works.
Oh, okay.
Because
We had 'em all
I think,
scrubbed.
yeah, we wiped them all.
Oh, you wiped them
because
out. Okay.
I think, I'm pretty sure we had them all wiped when COVID hit because we didn't want anyone getting into town.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna need to issue you a new code.
Okay. Yeah, so we would need that to inform, in general, if we send out like a message to our members saying that effective October 1st, we'll start our schedule. I'd certainly like to be able to provide the new code. What we don't want is people showing up to play and they can't get in.
Oh, correct.
yeah, we'll-
Right.
I will say, based on the motion, just like everything else, we should get a more defined schedule from you whenever you have it for Monday through Friday and
Well-
whatever times you have for Saturday and Sunday, just a more defined schedule of it so that we can put it in the calendar.
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, right now it's kind of open-ended in terms of the times we're saying you can use it. So I think just for a better reference, when you have a schedule, if you can just forward it back to the rec commission.
Okay.
And then we can post it.
I mean, a specific schedule, like sessions from 8:30 to 10:30, 10:30 to 12:30, that thing, that kind
Yeah,
of,
that would work.
okay.
Because we're getting a lot of demand now for access to talent hall, obviously, and we're trying to schedule and get as many people as we can, and then also know who's in there at what time and doing what.
But in general, in the past, our being able to use it from like 8:30 to 3:30 was always, Monday through Friday, was always because nobody else used it that time.
Typically, yes, because yeah,
Yeah, we can certainly send a more detailed,
yeah, that
Schedule.
appreciate it. That would be
Okay.
great.
thank
Do we have
you.
any protocols for cleaning in between groups?
We do have a janitor that's something we would probably have to install. Yeah, cleaning protocols.
We'll at least kind of have to get his cadence up a little,
Yeah,
and we probably want to put cleaning materials there.
we'll have to just take that into account too in between scheduling different groups.
So we need to figure out, how often we want Jerry to go down there and clean.
Yeah, he's not going to go down multiple times a day.
No, he'll probably go twice a week, 3 times a week, depending how heavy the usage is.
So is that something as we have multiple groups coming in one day, like on a Saturday?
We're gonna have
We've
to
got
leave it to
softball, baseball, basketball, pickleball. So
You're
they're
gonna
gonna be
have to leave it to
responsible
the
to do
group.
that on their own.
Yeah.
Clean up afterwards.
I think it's the only way to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's a new world. And before they wouldn't, right? Before they would just Jerry would go in on whatever day.
Yeah, I think
whenever he
it was three
needed.
times a week.
3 times a week. So as, because of the situation, everything's changed. We're going to request that when you're finished in the evening, just to, give a quick cleanup of the bathrooms, sanitize the sinks, whatever have you, so that the next group that goes in there is coming into a clean facility as well. And we'll request that with every person or every team using the town hall that they'll have to clean up at the end.
Okay.
All right, so we need to take a vote. All in favor of allowing pickleball to use Talent Hall as with the times suggested and a more detailed schedule coming towards us as soon as they have it, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So we get 7. Any opposed? Abstained? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch with you too, and I'll get you a code as soon as possible.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Next one is CHS Booster. Do we have anybody here from the Campbell High School Booster Club? It was requested by Colleen. All right.
You can probably just read her request.
Yeah, because one of them is, it's not until October.
They have to be here though for the request, right? Do they,
No.
for us to vote on it? Oh, they don't. Okay.
Campbell's a little bit different because we do work closely with the schools. All right, so Campbell High,
October 15th and November 12th.
Campbell High School Booster Club, October 15th for trivia night, Talent Hall from 5 p.m. to midnight. And again, November 12th for a sign night at Talent Hall, 5 p.m. to about midnight as well. I believe the second one was the one that Christmas and Xmas and Litchfield was requesting, and Heather told Colleen that she will pull her request back so Campbell High School could have the gym that night.
So she hasn't submitted an official request form yet. This email says she's going to.
Who?
Colleen?
Or the boosters?
The boosters actually did submit a formal email.
Someone-
Yeah, and they had their insurance certificate as well. Yeah, she submitted it on September 7th. Trivia night and sign night. 50 to 60 people. I told her that she has to keep it under 50. I don't know, sign night was probably the same, right? 50 to 60 people. Um, all right, you guys comfortable with making a motion on this and voting it?
I'll make a motion to accept the two proposed. Should we do them separately or together?
Probably separately.
I'll make a motion to allow the Campbell Booster Club to use Talent Hall on 10/15 from 5 p.m. to midnight.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? I will also ask her to, just like we're asking everybody to, they must clean up at the end of the evening. Make sure everything's sanitized.
Do they need a police detail?
Yeah, is there going to be alcohol served at this?
She did not say that.
Because if there is, then that
Yeah, because a BYOB, I mean, it's fine. It's just
that just
Just need
dictates
a
the
detail
need
there.
for detail.
What did she say for food? Food and beverage, yes, okay.
I think it is. Pain night, definitely. Whenever they do pain night, it definitely is.
Oh, yeah.
Usually bring wine and
Right.
and cocktails.
All right.
So we may want to check with the chief if a detail's needed. And I'm sure there are.
All right. I will add that to the note. If it's a BYOB, a detail may be
My only
required.
other question is, so this is, I assume it's for a fundraising sort of event. So does that money go into a rec revolving fund at that point?
No, this is a fundraising for the Booster Club at the high school.
Okay. I just know when we did our baseball trivia night or baseball
Well, we
comedy.
did that in conjunction with the rec commission.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay. That was just clarification on my part.
All right, so Mike made the motion, Andy seconded it. Two requests is they must sanitize, and if they're gonna have alcohol, we'll have to work with LPD about getting a detail on scene. Any other discussions? All right, then let's do it. All in favor of allowing Campbell to CHS Booster to use talent that evening, please signify by raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All abstain, 700. Do you want to make the motion again for sign night, Mike?
Sure, I'll make a motion to let Campbell Booster Club use Town Hall on November 12th from 5 p.m. until 12 midnight for our fundraiser.
I'll second.
Discussion,
Same caveats.
same
yeah, same
caveats. Sanitize if BYOB, police detail may be required. Any more discussion? All right, all in favor, please signify by raising your hand and saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? 700. Mike, do you want to talk to Colleen about this? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'll shoot her an email.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, next one is Tabernacle Christian School Soccer at Sawmill. We do not have them in attendance. They've already, so they're looking for, as every year, between August 30th through October 15th to hold soccer at Sawmill Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pastor Mike Small. They already provided their certificate of liability. Mike Bosky's already had, and I have already had conversation with this, and he's also reached out to make sure this would work with LYSL. I definitely appreciate your knowledge behind a lot of this stuff, Mike.
From hanging around way too long.
Yeah. So I assume typically LYSL and they just work together.
It's pretty much usually, something Tabernacles, they're requesting from 3 to 5, basically most of the days. They're usually off before 5, which is when LYSL is coming on. Sometimes their games are for 3:30 and they last a little bit past 5, and then whatever teams LYSLs have practice end up, if they're with their schedule for that field, they just pick another spot to start practice and
They
then
just
they'll move
work.
over to it after.
They just
So
work around
Yeah,
each other.
it's not an issue. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, can I have a motion?
All right. I'll make a motion to allow Tabernacle to use Sawmill between the dates of August 30th and October 15th from 3 to 5 p.m.
Can I have a second?
Second?
Peter? Any more discussion? All right. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand and saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 700. Once again, Mike, would you mind reaching out to Pastor Mike and letting him know he's all set?
I want them to know.
Thank you, sir. He's actually 2 houses up the street from me. I probably could walk up there, but Xmas in Litchfield, as I said, I think she pulled a request. Okay, next is guiding
Did she
eyes.
want a different night?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay.
I can reach out to her.
Got some time.
That'd be awesome. All right, I'll put Peter's gonna reach out. Thank you, Peter. Guiding eyes for the blind. Do we have Sandy Munn? Guys, don't mind sitting at the table. Please state your name and address.
Cam Munn and Sandy Munn, 5 Reed Lane, Litchfield, New Hampshire.
Thank you. So you're looking to hold Guiding Eyes for the Blind at Talent Hall, second and last Sundays of each month from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. And this will run pretty much for the next 12 months.
Correct. We just wanted to look into the feasibility of using Talent Hall, see if it was possible.
We have our training classes. We're puppy raisers here in the New Hampshire region. And in Litchfield, we have 3 families that are puppy raisers. And we've been outside and we're looking to come inside with the conditions getting colder. And the dogs are on leash virtually the whole time. They're just training sessions. Very little time are they off leash. They're always with their raiser. They're encouraged to get busy before they come inside for class. Occasionally there would be an accident, probably because we start at 8 weeks and go till they're close to 2 years that they're with us.
I assume this is a
It's nonprofit,
Nonprofit.
yes. Yep.
And just so you have an understanding, this is not like some agility kind of thing. These dogs are there to basically walk around with a blind person. So what they do during the classes is mostly sitting, walking, controlled kind of stuff. They're not going crazy around each other. It's not a playtime for these dogs.
And the goal is to be able to work with distractions around all the time. So for them to be composed is the goal. So they're not, they're not out of control. Very rarely. There might be some barking at each other, but.
Okay. So as you heard the discussion we were just having, we have a lot of people coming to use talent and we're trying to squeeze people in as much as we can. Those hours will probably be when baseball or baseball or basketball in the facilities. And we always, our recreation teams are always going to come first and foremost above everything else.
We do have our regional manager is from Maine, and so she travels to our three different regions, and she is leaving. So that schedule may change for her. That's what she wants. She wants 9 to noon so she can head back to Maine. If you would consider that we could switch that up, maybe it may change, but just to know if there was even the possibility that we could be in there out of the cold with them.
Again, we're kind of just exploring, if it's possible here. We understand you have a lot of people that want to use talent.
We need a bigger building.
Yeah, or 2 of them.
Or 2.
Or if you know of any other facility in the area.
Yeah, that's true.
I posted on WhatsApp in Litchfield and did have one person offer, but the space.
The veterinarian.
Yeah, yep. They have an oxygen tank that pumps constantly for the emergencies
A very loud one.
in that same area. So it was just too loud. We wouldn't have been able to hear the instructor or each other. But it was a really nice offer.
Right. The only other concern I would honestly say is having animals in the building. It's a very old building and it's wood floors. So, scratching and, if the dog relieves itself on the wood, it can cause damage, obviously. That is a concern. I like the whole idea and, and I appreciate what you were doing. That's for sure.
Well, we do walk them through like Home Depot and those places. And so we know how to clean up quickly after they do something.
And the whole time that I've
But
been
I
doing
understand.
it,
It is an old
I think I've seen it maybe once that they and it's usually P. But they do encourage them to go before they come in too. But I understand, yeah, the concerns. And
I've swept
the wood floor.
Talent Hall plenty of times. I know
Yeah.
there are lots of cracks in that
Yeah,
wood.
and that floor is old.
I'd be concerned with the finish and scratching, like I said.
Yeah, or the lack of finish at this point.
You know, then the whole sanitation portion of it, as much as try to clean, we got kids playing basketball who are falling on the floor, and
Yeah.
you know, that's the tough part. But I think it's a wonderful idea. You know, trying to do this for raising the dogs to help out the blind.
Right, so probably put it to a vote.
Are those times open or?
Yeah, make
already
a
approved
make a
something at those
motion,
times?
then discussion,
And then-
formal discussion, yeah, then
Well, they, as we were saying earlier, right now they may be because basketball hasn't come forward and softball and soccer, and they typically, I know Talent Hall is busy all weekend long. And if they're not going to be able to use LMS for the games, then they're probably going to have to do it at Talent, which is a challenge.
Yeah, I know you said somebody was coming down from Maine, but is your schedule flexible at all?
She's our regional manager, and for her, it wasn't, we used to meet at a church and it was the afternoon, but in the winter hours, for her to leave the church at 2:00 and head home, she's in the dark most of the time. So since we've been outside, we've moved everything to like 9 to noon Sunday morning because that was her schedule. But she's leaving, she's retiring. So, and we don't know who the new regional manager will be. I think she's supposed to be from Massachusetts, but that's all kind of up in the air.
How many dogs typically?
About 5,
Yeah, 5 or 6 probably at a time in each class, all different ages.
and usually about 10 people. You have the raisers, and you usually have people that are learning how to raise and things that'll just be sitting in chairs off to the side.
All right.
All right, I'll make a motion to allow Guiding Eyes for the Blind to use Talent Hall from 9 a.m. till noon on Sundays for the next 12 months, starting in October, I believe. Was it October?
September.
September 19th.
Yeah, it's roughly 3 years.
It doesn't have to be that date. I just put a date in there for you. And we usually meet the second Sunday and the last Sunday of the
So
month.
it's not every week,
It's not every Sunday. It would just be 2 Sundays a month.
if that
And,
helps.
and there's also sometimes that we wouldn't be in there and we could let you know because we do take the dogs on outings. We'll go to Home Depot, we'll go to a park, anywhere we could have
We're actually,
distractions.
we're made a motion. We have to stop.
Oh, sorry.
Can I have a second?
second.
A second for Mike. All right. Any more discussion?
My main fear in this, and it's just a natural, it's not even like the sanitation, like the sanitation's the portion of it can be cleaned up. The damage that nails are going to do to the floor, to that lacquer, and the fact that we can't strip the floor anymore. We can kind of maybe redo it every once in a while, but even that's up in the air. That floor really can't take the constant having to, like, the scratches in it, I don't think, over the course of a year, as well as, you're going to be doing, if that's happening while basketball is happening, you're going to be in the middle of basketball season, that floor is going to be getting worse, or you have to redo it at that point. It's going to be tough. Even in that case, I'm not sure I'd be in favor of saying we're reserving talent for a year and a quarter, which is basically what the request is for. So, those are my concerns. Just looking at the overall health of the facility, which unfortunately isn't, it's not state of the art by any means. So,
Any other
There's a
discussion?
question about insurance. So I assume there's liability insurance, so if there's a bite or something like that. But is there something like property damage insurance where if there was damage, we'd have a place to go to?
We have a certificate of insurance. Yeah, I didn't submit it yet because the regional manager said, just see what they say first.
Would it be possible to restrict it to the stage area? Is that even big enough for you?
Probably not.
No, I don't think that's big enough. If I remember the stage right. Yeah.
it's probably the size of this room.
Down in the back, yeah.
I would agree with Mike. While I really like the idea and I think it's awesome, I just don't think that building can withstand the wear and tear. And then if the dog does something on the floor, then we're going to clean it, which is weakening. Right. That the building is at the point now where we've requested to have the floors redone, and the guys told us you can't. Next step is tearing them all up and starting fresh. And then that just opens up a whole can of worms. So I would agree with Mike. That was the concern. Plus, reserving it for a year is something we try not to do.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
I mean, I'm less concerned about the damage. I think, we talk about 5 dogs, they're not doing aggressive moves. So I don't think it's going to rip it apart. I think it'll be close to the marks that are on the floor right now, and so the point about the hall being not good shape is a valid one, but I don't foresee this being a huge wear and tear. So I'm inclined to support it. I do agree that extending the dates out, I prefer it to be like a 6-month thing versus a year, because that's just unpredictable. I do have a question, because there will be conflicts that come up. I can certainly see that. If you have a regional staff member who's supporting this, and we're going to want to defer to the rec teams, is that logistical problem like not worth the squeeze, because it would be too disruptive? So I worry about that, because I know if the request does come forward, I think we're all going to be inclined to support the local teams, and it could create conflict. So those are my concerns, but I'm supportive of the concept. I'm not as concerned about the damage.
Yeah, I'm on kind of the same boat as Peter. I mean, the floors are in pretty rough shape already. I mean, I don't think 5 dogs are, for a couple hours a week is really going to be that much more damage to them, if any. I don't know if they could possibly put down some sort of protective thing while you're doing it or whatever. But I mean, I assume that would have to be a fairly large area to cover. But the biggest thing for me is the inflexibility and schedule. I just, if we could know for certain that, it could change to say 3 to 5 in the afternoon or something like that, when we know the gym isn't being used, I'd be much more supportive of it in that aspect.
Have we done anything with animals in there in the past? Not that I'm aware of. but-
Not that I'm
I
aware
don't
of.
think so. All right. Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand and saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
And abstained? Motion fails 3-4-0. Sorry, folks, it's not going to
Okay.
happen at this point, but
I understand.
we'll definitely try to work with you if it's something that we could figure out over time.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea, and I definitely support it.
Like I say, we just wanted to look into it to see if
Yep.
it was feasible and everything. So we appreciate it. Thanks.
I'd say the little fire station, but I think everything's in there now.
Yeah, that's pretty full down
And
there.
it's probably not too warm in the winter.
No, not really. And it would have been a perfect spot because it is a concrete floor.
Yeah.
But it's dry storage right now with a lot of stuff in it.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right. What do we have next? Scouts. The Scouts are looking for Scouts BSA would like to have a group meeting third Wednesdays of each month from 6:15 to 8:45 p.m. We have Mr. Curtis Simpson and Mr. David. What's your last name, David?
Franklin.
Franklin. That's my son went to school with Killian. Hi, gentlemen. So this is something new for you guys, right? You haven't used Talent before.
Well, no, we actually used Talent a couple months ago for the overnight.
Yeah.
We did the overnight, and we usually do our end of year event using the field and the pavilion right there, but we've never used the hall itself.
Yep.
Usually we use the schools. We're still unclear on if we'll be able to use the school and the cafeteria and everything with everything going on. So we're trying to see what's available for us, what we can use. The one little concern that we have obviously is that your limit is 50. And with parents and siblings and any newcomers, we could go over that number. So we were trying to see if that's a major concern, if there's any exceptions. I know with our program, indoors, we're required to wear masks. We can keep the group spread out, as far as we need to. But that is something that we're looking at. I mean, we're trying to grow the group, obviously. I think just this year alone, we're going to add anywhere from 5 to 7 scouts. Usually when you add a Cub Scout, you're adding a family of at least 2 to 4. So, you're multiplying by that.
So what would you expect for head count?
Honestly, anywhere from 75 to 85. Most of the time, if the weather's nice, we're going to try and do our events outside.
Right.
But the event we want to have an event tomorrow night, and that would be, we wanted to try and do a slideshow inside the hall and show the summer camp and show what we did with the weekend here at the hall. And so that would be everybody indoors. And so that's kind of what we're hoping to do. But again, it depends on what's going on the night with sports, how many families show up, if the siblings come. So, but I'm thinking anywhere from 75 to 85 would be our number. So that's the concern that we have. Other than that, I mean, we've used the hall. We respect the hall. We take care of when we're there. Obviously, the scouts like to leave less of a trace when we leave than when we're there. So.
Yep, understand. So the maximum of 50 people is something that this board imposed on talent.
Yep.
Litchfield does not have a mask mandate or even an occupancy mandate, right?
Correct.
But we decided because the building is old, lacks ventilation.
Yep.
I mean, we picked up a couple fans to try to cool you off.
Yeah, we
that
saw
night.
that. That was fun.
And
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's the biggest concern is it's a confined space. And
Yep.
so we, as a board, decided to maximize it at 50.
Okay.
And I don't believe we're ready to make a motion on that. I know personally, watching the news, it seems like we're going the wrong direction again.
Yep.
And if we do anything, I think we'd actually probably tighten it up.
Okay.
I really would like to get the scouts in there, and which is one of the reasons why I recruited Mr. Jeff Town on our board, because I think it'd be a great addition.
Is it something you'd consider doing in phases, like one group?
We could. It makes it a little bit difficult. We could try and break it up. The goal is to try and, because every den has their own meeting, so they can do their stuff as dens, and those are like anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20. We try and do at least one major event where we can do, awards where the different age groups can interact and kind of see what the older groups are doing, so they can kind of get more into those activities and be prepared for their next years and their advancements. So we try and get the pack together as one. Like for the 15th, almost everything's going to be outdoors. If 50 is the number on the building, I'll do 2 different groups inside the building to show the PowerPoint and the video. And if that's the number, then we could try and talk to parents about, one parent coming with the scout. It kind of goes against what we're hoping for, because the more people you bring, the more
Trying
chance
to
you can
build.
grow the group. You bring the siblings, they get excited about the program and they want to join the program. So, I mean, just using town hall and doing the stuff we did that weekend that you guys let us. I mean, we think we probably brought 5 more scouts in, which is 5 more than we did all last year because of COVID. So, and there's a lot of programs that are hurting right now. So we're trying to do a lot of more outdoor stuff. We're trying to get the group together to do a lot more exciting stuff rather than just sitting in a small room and doing advancement stuff. We want to try and do these activities. So if 50 is the number, we'll make it work. We are still trying to see what else is out there for options, but if 50 is the number indoors, we'll just have to make it work.
We will make it work.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions for?
No, I mean, if they can keep the 50, I'm comfortable with it. 'Cause I'd
Same.
love to get
Yeah.
the scouts in there and
Problem.
help drive it. I mean, it's a great program for the youth of the town. Anything we can do to help drive enrollment, I think, is a wonderful thing.
In time frame, Wednesdays, it's pretty, is it?
Wednesday nights, I mean.
Well,
Well,
I was going to wait until we made a motion, had discussion, but this is one of those things. Now, as we get to different quarters, as we get to basketball season, it's going to be one of those things where in the middle of basketball, like every third week, all of a sudden you can't use talent. So if we're comfortable telling basketball that, then fine.
are they in there that late?
Basketball will run, depending on how many people, they'll run from 5 to 9.
Especially
During
if
the
they
night.
can't use the schools.
Correct.
All right.
I mean, now mind you, like, I don't have a problem trying to figure out a way to get it worked in. But the thing is like, if we're basically taking, it's like, if the meeting's starting at 6:15 and going until 8:45, we're taking up bits of pieces of hours. So it's like, is there flexibility in the scheduling? Can you go, even if it's like 6:30, so we could say, try to say basketball, get in there at 4:35, 35:30, 6:30, at least they get 2 hours in on the day. And then you go a little bit later for you guys. Is all your meetings usually last that long, or they?
Usually our meetings are about an hour long.
Right.
Generally we try and do 6:30 to 7:30,
Mhm.
and it's because our scouts are young. We want them,
Right.
we want them
Oh,
home,
correct.
going back to bed, we try and do after 6:30 because everybody's had dinner, parents are home. So we try and get within an hour. What we generally find is if our meetings run longer than an hour, you just lose the interest of the scouts.
Right.
So it's just try and get them in there, do some fun stuff as a group, do some team building and stuff like that. So usually it's 6:30. I think we put 6:15 in there so we could say, hey, this is when we're going to start setting up.
Mhm.
And then we said after 7:30 because obviously we're cleaning up,
Right.
and that's generally what we found. The leaders will linger around, talk about what's coming up for the next program, stuff like that. So if you were to say, hey, set it up for 6:30, we can make that work. I just don't want to go too much later than 7:30
Right. No, I get you.
for that reason.
But it's one of those things where you're trying, it's, especially when talent becomes busy, especially in
Yeah.
the winter, because there are nights where, basketball wants to be in there, but there are sometimes where I've seen softball and baseball try to get in there for pitching clinics or other things. So you're trying to balance off into hour blocks.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking, if you could give, like, 4 is really tough to start anything.
Yep.
But I've seen practices for basketball start at 4:30. So you could go 4:30 if you're saying, tell them on Wednesday 4:30, 5:30, 5:30, 6:30, and after 6:30 it's unavailable. Then it's easier than saying 6:15.
Right.
I'm just trying to break the blocks
How
up
late would basketball run till?
in terms of.
Like practices during the weeknights?
So there will be, it used to be back when my kid was playing and I was on the basketball board, we'd schedule practices anywhere from start times 5 to 8 in talent. So, and they'd usually be hour blocks. So like that
Right.
last block would be 8 to 9. It's usually,
Yep.
if there's 7th and 8th grade teams that go in there and they're the ones practicing late.
Is it every night of the week? Do they practice that often?
Yeah. Well, it depends on how many teams they have. And I haven't been involved in 5 years at this point. So back then it was Monday through Thursday. It was fall. Fridays it wasn't all 4 hours because people don't want to practice on Fridays. And that was with LMS. With the travel teams, those were the rec teams mainly.
Yeah,
And then
the
LMS
LMS
was
the traveling.
was travel.
But the program was big back then.
It was bigger back then.
Yeah.
I don't know how big it is now, but I'm sure without LMS,
It was really busy at the summer.
The summer was busy.
Yeah.
yeah. So, you know what I mean? And this is one of those, is like, if we tell them you only get 2 hours in there on Wednesdays, then, but at least it's 2 hours and not an hour.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because realistically, you're not going to, even those other Wednesdays, you're not going to say, well, you can use it these other Wednesdays, but you just can't use it that one. So because no coach, you're not trying to schedule a coach in there. Like, we're going to practice 3 weeks out of the 4, and the 4th week we got to.
Be a good scrimmage night.
If for some reason basketball needed it Wednesdays, could you switch to a different day and have that be your consistent day? Or are you just trying to
We could look into it. The only reason we stick with Wednesdays is because most of the parents have already adjusted their schedules because a lot of them have been in the program for 3 or 4 years already. So, we can look at it, but generally.
I don't think it's a matter of what night. Like, unless you're picking a Friday night, which no one else really wants to be in there. And
be there for 2
Scouts
hours.
probably don't want to be in there either. Then there's always someone who's going to be like, well, I can fill the time if it's there. So, Wednesdays is fine. It's just that trying to figure out the block balance of if you're giving them 2 full hours, it's better than saying basically you got to be out of there at 6, which if this thing starts at 6:15, you can't, there's almost no way to fit in 2 hours before that.
Right.
Yeah, we can do 6:30 to 7:30. It wouldn't be a problem. We can make that work.
Let's also reach out to basketball because I think we're kind of operating in kind of what ifs, and if we can get them to be a little proactive because we're going to want to support them. I just if they have a sense, it'd be helpful for these kind of conversations.
I mean, and I can shoot them an email and ask them to come next meeting.
Yeah,
Just
that's
to
good.
talk. I mean, they won't have times, but at least they might have a sense of, the amount of people they need and, amount of time they're going to need and people they have. So you can do that.
Have signups gone out yet? I don't think I've
No,
seen them.
they haven't come out yet, but like tryouts are usually second or third week of October. So it's right around the corner.
Yep, coming up fast. All right. Someone wants to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to allow the scouts to use Talent Hall on every third Wednesday from 6:30 to 7:30.
No, just go like their request was 6:30 to
6:15 to 8:45.
8:45. So
Leave it like
we can
this.
just go right to 9. You know what I mean? Just give them the time after. You mean you're not gonna? I don't want to
Yeah,
restrict their
so
back end
6:15
either.
to 9.
You sure you want to do this? We can do the 6:30.
6:30.
6:30. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
that'll work.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll make that work. Thank you.
I'll second.
All right. Any more discussion? I know we're having discussion before, but I think we typically, when you go into discussion, we really can't engage you. We have to discuss amongst the board, but we're trying to work this out, be a little more fluid.
I know there was an official letter from Jeff thanking you guys for letting us use
Yes.
Talent Hall, but just wanted in person. We really did appreciate it. We got a lot of people that we hadn't seen with our program from the town that came in. A lot of people that are interested in the program, so it was really good. And the pack, I think we're gonna bring in a couple scouts from it. So I appreciate you guys letting us use that on short notice.
All right. We all in favor of allowing scouts to use Town Hall on Wednesdays, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
2, 3. Opposed? Say it. And abstained? All right, so motion carries 6-1-0. So what we'll do is we'll work with you, but please understand that as we start getting our schedule solidified, we might have to work around you or work with you even more.
Yeah, that's fine.
As you heard, everybody's coming in trying to use talent. Last year really put us for a loop because no one could go in there, so we don't know what the fallout actually is. I expect more teams to come together because I think kids are getting restless and they want to get back to it. We're estimating, we're guessing at this point. So we'll know more come October. So for now, we'll say, yeah, you can get in there, but we may have to readdress and or possibly look for a second place while you're doing this, knowing that you are at a max of 50.
Yeah, we are gonna look, obviously, because I prefer to be able to get as many people in, especially if parents and siblings. So we are gonna keep looking, obviously, and if anybody knows of anything, can reach out to us. But we do appreciate you guys letting us go with this for now.
We'll get
Thank
you
you.
in there for now and then reevaluate in a couple weeks once we have more details.
Great. Come on down tomorrow if you want to come down and watch some rain gutter regatta. It's all open tomorrow, so come on down.
Is that tomorrow?
That's
Rain Gutter
tomorrow.
Regatta?
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good evening.
All right. Last one that was a late arrival is Democrats of Litchfield group gathering at Talent Hall. We got Betty Vaughn.
How you doing?
Hello. Have a seat. Please announce your name and your address.
Betty Vaughn, I live at 19 Stark Lane.
John Crow, 72 Old Stage Road.
All right. So this group is a Democrats of Litchfield group gathering at Talent Hall. They'd like from 2 to 4 p.m. on 10/23 or 10/24. I don't even think we're going to even go to a vote for this. This is something that 3 years ago, the Democrats of Litchfield came before the board and asked the same thing. And at that time, we denied it, and it'll be the same. We basically do not allow civic organizations to use the facilities because it can become a real slippery slope. I'm sorry for having you come in here, but I had to have a side discussion, and somebody reminded me of this. The problem is if we allow you to come in, then honestly, a motorcycle gang can come in because they're a civic organization, and then we're going to have to start approving other organizations. Typically, our facilities are also very recreational focused, as you could see. We are working with the scouts, but typically, if the basketball needs the talent hall that day, the scouts are going to have to find someplace else to assemble, obviously. So at this time, I'm going to say no. We just cannot support this request.
Can I just mention one thing? I mean, I'm fine with it. I kind of knew this was going to happen, but I did look at your bylaws, and it specifically states that you would like to get as many citizens involved as possible with the recreation department, and also you're looking to get civic organizations involved. So just sort of just wanted to point it out to you.
Yeah,
That's
well,
all.
I don't
I
think
mean, I appreciate
Democrats
the
are
fact
not
that
a
you-
recreational team.
Well,
We're not what?
point of order, I'll raise. So they follow as a nonprofit. I don't know that we have.
Oh, we are a nonprofit, yeah.
Yeah, nonprofit.
So I don't know that we have a law or a rule that says we cannot approve
Right.
civic organizations. So I would like a vote.
Okay.
Looking at the application, looks like it's valid under what is permissible for discussion.
Committee, special advisory committees, commission oversight.
I think also that senior women have been meeting in there or met in there for a while.
Can I just tell you what it's going to be?
Yeah.
It's like one day, possibly every year, if it goes well. It's like 30 people who are generally old like me. We go, we talk, we discuss, and hopefully have a couple laughs. This was going to be sort of like a harvest festival, so like bring pies. It's like no alcohol happening because we're just not those kind of people. And my brother belongs to a motorcycle gang, and he's a pretty nice guy. So I mean, even if there was motorcycle gangs, it would be okay because generally speaking, they tend to be good people, as far as I know. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, there's
So I
nothing in
appreciate
the
you
bylaws
trying
that
to take a
specify that.
Huh?
There is nothing in the bylaws that specify what I said. I was just going off
Oh,
the decision that was made about 3 years ago. when
yeah.
it came
No, I know
before us.
that. Like, that's kind of the part of the reason I'm here is because it seems like it's not really. I don't know. But anyway, never mind.
Well, no. I'll tell you what I'm trying to do is things differently. I'm trying not to go that this is how we've always done it.
Yeah,
so
that
I
would be
like to
good.
change the rules and I like to see what we can do.
Yeah.
Peter suggested that we put it to vote. I definitely will put it to a vote. So all those in favor of allowing.
They're going to make a motion.
Oh, yeah. They're going to make a motion. I'm trying to get my notes where I had it. All right. So can we have a motion to allow the Democrats you actually had two dates, 10/23 or 10/24. You said if it was nice out, you're going to go use the pavilion.
No, like basically, I think probably what you said at first, 10/23 or 10/24 doesn't really matter to us. Like we just wanted 2 to 4.
You prefer to be inside.
We
So
prefer
because
to be-
the pavilion,
Like, if
just
the
so
weather's bad, yeah, then
the pavilion is open to the general public of Litchfield. It is not reservable. So at any time, if you guys decided to meet there, you can. And it's, we don't cast a vote on if you could use it
Right.
or not.
I'm sorry. Do we have a formal request for this?
yes,
I don't see the formal request for it.
I put it through. Steve,
It's an attachment on the September 9th.
Yep, I've got it.
September 9th. Sorry.
So we're not in discussion yet.
Can I question?
You'll see it again on the 20th.
Okay, I found it.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Just to clarify. So nonprofit organization. This is not a political fundraiser. You point in here that there's no fundraising at this event. Is that correct?
no, we're just trying to get people together and eat pie. Really, so we're all about.
Eat pie.
Would there be any political campaigning at this event?
We were going to invite the woman who just won the state rep election. So she's not really campaigning, and we don't know if she's going to come, but she is, you know, a political person, so I'm not sure.
There's no active candidates for an office, so.
No, we're not. No, she's not. She already won.
So, because that would make it a rally, right? Essentially.
Well, I think that's of a different nature if you're having candidates come in to like.
Oh yeah, no.
Rally, that type of thing, but.
No, we're
there
not
are
doing that.
Elections going on right now. In any case, there are no many candidates around, so just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Right. Yep. No.
And do you have a certificate of insurance?
We were gonna wait on that, like the last people, just to see, you know, how all this went. But I did talk to the guy who's in charge of the Hillsborough Democrats, and he said once a year we can do a certificate of insurance. So I was gonna check back with him if it all went our way. So we would be able to do that, but just, you know, we haven't done that yet.
So can I ask a question? You would keep it at 50 if 51st
Oh,
person
yeah,
or
we-
52nd person, somebody would be
We would kick them out
counting
so
low,
fast.
like you would say you can't come in. I mean,
Yeah.
I know with the scouts, because the families, they have an idea of the number of people that might
Yeah,
show
no,
up.
we
right?
won't. We won't get to 50.
You won't, okay.
So-
This is Litchfield and we're Democrats.
So you're safe with that.
All right. Any more discussions?
So do you need tables and chairs then if you're eating? Is it, I mean, I
You know,
know like
that's a
the
good
scouts,
question.
the kids can go in there and sit on the floor, they'll sit on the floor or whatever, but
I mean, I don't really know how you guys usually do that stuff. So, you know, I've been in there when like they had the, you know, Mrs. Jewett had like pies and stuff for sale there. Like that's all I remember
typically
really. So
whoever's using it is in charge of the setup of everything, right? And the takedown. We don't do any of that.
So this is all Litchfield residents as well,
well, unless we invite that woman from Bedford, probably Donna Susie would come because she
But
is
majority.
our Litchfield
Majority.
senator.
of Litchfield.
Majority.
residents. Okay.
I think the box I checked was the 50 to
50 to
99% people.
Okay.
The people we're reaching out to are all Litchfield residents.
Yeah.
All right. So do we have a motion? Did you make a motion?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'll move to approve the request for Litchfield Democrats for Talent Hall on Sunday, the 23rd, or excuse me, Saturday, 23rd, with a rain date of the 24th.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any more discussions?
So I just am supportive because I think it doesn't matter if they're the Litchfield Democrats or any other, you know, politically related organization. The request is for an event that's fits within our bylaws and is not fundraising. So I'm inclined to support that as it's in line with other similar requests.
So that's a Saturday or Sunday. We don't have any, I know you have the schedule in front of you. We don't have anything else scheduled in there.
Yeah, what day did you want? Saturday or Sunday?
We prefer the 23rd, but
Saturday.
you know, if there was something happening on the 23rd, we could move it to the 24th.
Basketball games start by then?
No idea.
I don't know.
No idea.
It's been so long.
Won't be
since I've
games.
been
They'll be
with
trying to
kids.
do tryouts, but I'm not even sure when the heck that's going to be. I mean, I have no idea. But if something's in there, then something's in there.
All right. Any other discussion?
We should make, this should be contingent on receipt of
COI, yep.
insurance.
We'll need that prior to the meeting. All right. Put it to a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained? 6-1-0. All right. If you can, get that certificate of insurance as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'll talk to the guy, and his name is Roger. I'll talk to him and see how we do that.
Okay. And I may reach out to you because, like I said, our first priority is our kids getting back to playing basketball
Right.
and whatever else. If we can get you in there, you said you prefer Saturday.
Mhm.
If something's going on, I may ask you to move it to Sunday, but I'll let you know as soon as possible.
Right.
If that's okay with you.
Right. I really appreciate this. Power to the people, right on.
All right. Is that it? All right.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's have Harry step up. This is actually, we're done with facilities and field requests. Who's the gentleman in the back?
Pardon?
Are they?
We managed the challenge course. We were under the impression Jeff Town put us on the agenda to chat with you guys about.
Oh, okay. No, he didn't, but we'll meet with Harry real quickly and then we'll,
Sounds great.
sorry, gentlemen.
Yeah, my name is Harry Menzigian from the Conservation Commission. I've been working with Steve on hopefully trying to revive the fishing derby. So I'm not sure what you guys are all aware of or not aware of, so I might backtrack a little bit. The first situation we ran into was there is a rumor that Chase Brook Dam needed to be dredged. So we chased that rumor down and it turned to be not a true statement. The owner of Chase Brook has no reason to dredge it. And the reason the rumor was there was because of the lack of water that was behind the dam that could support fish. All right, so we got through that.
Was that during the drought?
Pardon?
Was that during the drought last summer or whatever?
No,
Oh, it's still that way.
yeah,
Okay.
this year, believe it or not, this year. So then we met on September 2nd at the dam, and we met with Gene. I'm going to mess up his last name.
Duchamp.
Thank you. And Paul Lemire, and we had a discussion. And looking at Chase Brook, you'd say, gee, there was plenty of water. Well, apparently there was too much water. Bottom line is the dam is in disrepair for a couple reasons. First of all, it wasn't maintained. And number two, friendly furry creatures that live in the stream decided to take advantage of whatever wooden structure was there. So we talked to Gene and asked him what he needed to do. The first thing that happens is that there are 3 beaver dams on Chase Brook. Those have to be removed to drop the stream down so that Gene can go in and do the repairs on the dam. Now, it'll take, now understand what I'm saying, assuming that we can remove the dams and remove the creatures. It'll take a week for the stream to drop, and then it'll take another week for Gene to do the repairs. Okay? I checked with our selectman rep, which is Kevin Lynch, and he said that the town of Litchfield had, I believe, an authorized trapper, which Kevin's getting hold of now. First question out of my mouth was, how much is it going to cost us? And what Kevin said, it was probably not going to cost us anything, but he would prefer to remove the beaver in the winter where the pelts were more valuable. And that presents a problem because now you have a window where you, from say mid-March to mid-June, you know, is the weather going to cooperate? So then we kind of looked around for alternatives. Well, Dara Pond's definitely out. It's too warm.
Yep.
And the fish would die almost instantly. I mean, it certainly had the room. Then there was Nessenbrook Keg.
Listen, Kegbrook, yep.
Yeah, and that has been overgrown. And all of you most of you have had kids and they're dangerous with fishing rods and, it's safer to stand in front of them than behind them. So I'm going to go down there and take a look, and I don't hold out much hope for that because there's been trees have been taken down because of erosion and, stuff in the water. So now they thought of the Merrimack River, but that's certainly out of the question because the current.
Especially in May.
If you were in Hudson, great. 500 fish come down, love it. So that's where we stand right now. I'm waiting for Kevin to get back to me, see if we can negotiate something with the people's whose property the dam is on and see what we can do. And then we'll see how that comes out and we'll maybe try to go to some other plan B. So.
Yeah, I know at one point you suggested possibly Londonderry Fish and Game, but two of the supporters basically said
One
that
of our
they'd back out.
supporters is not particularly fond of that. And we may have to have a discussion with him on, to get his thoughts behind what exactly.
Now, is that a pond or is that fresh water? Is that moving? Is that a stream? At Londonderry Fish and Game.
It's a nice pond.
Just a pond.
Beautiful, it's deep, it's nice.
Yeah, it's got plenty of space around it. You don't have to worry about weeds. The water is fine.
Can it
You
support
don't have to
the-
worry about the kids falling in.
Can it support the number of fish that we would bring in?
Oh, yes. Well, Londonderry Fish and Game Club orders about 500 minimum. So the state doubles that. So it's 1,000.
They do that once a year, and it's a great event.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Kids are pulling
So-
fish out left and right.
There's about 1,000 fish, and the rumor has it that supposedly there's still fish in there, but that's a rumor. So that's where we stand. I just wanted to bring you guys up to date and let you know what was going on. And we'll see what we can work out. Okay?
Thank you for coming in, Harry. I appreciate it. Sorry I missed you that day. But like I said, I did watch the video and listen to the conversation.
Okay.
And
All right.
Yeah, I
Well,
got the
thank you
idea.
very much.
yeah, if you find another location, definitely let me know.
Yeah. The only thing, when you have a chance on the Scoutmaster,
Yep.
if you can email me his telephone number,
Okay.
I'd like to include him. If things get going, I'd like to include the Boy Scouts in this effort.
I'll send you the information. Actually, one of our alternate members, Jeff Town, who's not in tonight, is on the Scouts.
Okay.
But, yeah, I'll send you the information for
All
sure.
righty. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Harry.
And thank you. I didn't ask for anything. Your turn.
Sorry, gentlemen, I didn't know who you were with.
No worries.
Well, we had the mask on. So
That's it. So you must be Coach K.
I am Coach K. Here I am.
That's
Jose
it.
doesn't age.
I didn't see the mustache. I didn't recognize him.
And this conversation all started at the end of August because I was running a team building program, and Jeff came by and he says, "Oh my God, you're still alive!" And I said, "Sure, I'm still enjoying what I do," and blah blah blah. And he says, "We the rec board was just wondering what was going on because the last time Ryan Chassie and I had come before the board was just after John Bryant had passed away. And so he said, if you could come by and just have a chat with everybody to bring them up what's going on, I think everybody would be very appreciative. So that's why we're here."
Brian, how do you spell your last name?
CHASSE.
Okay, perfect. I had it right. There's a lot of interest. Judy definitely has a lot of interest. Jeff and Judy are new alternates on the board. Jeff is part of the Scouts and he's very eager, engaged. And so he mentioned he was going to talk to you about it and ask you to come in. And I think it's a great idea. Some of the questions we had were, is it even being used? Where does it stand now? I know it was affiliated with the school, but
So It's the school is the prime user, and has been. I mean, I've been retired 10 years and I still come back and work with the school, which I will be doing next month, with the class, one of the classes that I used to teach. And so they're the big user of the course, but we've also had groups from all over the area, and it's been a really great showpiece for Litchfield, because it's like, oh my gosh, this is the Central Park and this is what is in here and blah, blah, blah. So it's been a great thing for everybody. The unfortunate thing is just recently, last budget year, the school notified me that they had to have a cut, and they cut the funding for the annual inspection. So the course was not inspected this year, and because of that, we're going to have to close the course until the funds are there so that it can be inspected, because it's been a year. Starting September 1st will be well after a year. So Jeff was kind of funny. He saw me just under the gun with one of the last groups that we were working with. We've had a lot of athletic teams from the area come in. We've had, for example, Elvern High School brought their PE staff over to see what we have, because they have a course over on their school property. We have worked with other organizations to come in and do team building. So we start in the athletic field and then work our way into either the low course or the high course, depending upon who wants to use what. And as I said to Jeff, there was a time where we, worked with the Scouts, and both of us are Eagle Scouts. So we have definitely, support whatever the scouting movement would like to do. But we have been maintaining it under the same guidelines that John had set up. And thereafter, the people that were chairing just after his passing. And I don't know, what other things you want to share?
Yeah, essentially the proceeds from us bringing outside groups in goes towards the maintenance of the course. So it becomes somewhat of a self-sustaining model. What has happened in the past in terms of town input or school district input is equipment costs and upkeep, the annual inspection, and of course that we have had over the years a couple natural disasters. We had a couple lightning strikes and things like that I know the Rec Commission has used their insurance to help clean up those trees. And we've used our time to, those funds have bought the materials, and we've used our time to repair the course from those things. So that's typically the relationship that we've had with the course in the town, allowing that to continue to be a resource for the students and the folks in town, by bringing these, the few groups in from outside to offset the costs of the maintenance for it.
So as you can tell, we're fairly a new board.
Yep.
Mike's been around for a while, and as well as Andy Collins is still on the board. He's just not on tonight or on the commission. But the rest of us are looking at it like it's on rec property. How do we use it? What do we have to do? How do we get engaged?
Or who do we contact, even if a group wanted to get together and get some training? Like,
yeah, and that
was people know or find out about it.
That's a great question. I'm the contact for operating the course, and so if you had groups that are asking about that, then perhaps it might be worth posting something down there. Interested in using the course, and be able to put some contact information out there, and that allows more traffic to come into the course. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend doing that until we can work out the inspection details with the school and figure out how we're going to be able to get that funded for this year's annual inspection.
Have you talked to the school yet?
We're initially in the spring, and we're trying to get in to speak with the principal to figure out how we can make this work. There's a couple different inspecting organizations that are capable of doing the inspection. It's just a matter of a safety inspection has a value and a cost. And if you come in and say, I'd like to pay you 25% of that cost, will you still do the safety inspection? Most of the organizations are like, I'm sorry, I can't do a quarter of a safety inspection for you.
Right.
And
what's the general cost of that safety inspection?
$1,000 to $1,300, I think, is the
Yearly?
annual. Yep.
Really?
Who carries the insurance on it? On the actual course?
The rec commission. I believe that's the case,
Well,
right? Is the
it's-
town?
It's under the town auspices, but there's the inspector. We've had the same inspector inspecting the course, Pro Image Adventures, and he carries the insurance on all of the stuff that's inspected. And
So he carries liability
yeah.
insurance
So the
on his
inspector
inspection.
carries the liability insurance?
But
On
that's if
his
something
inspection.
breaks, I assume. Like if a wire were to break, then
Right.
he would be liable for that wire
That
breaking.
part of it, but I
But
was
if
just
somebody gets
curious.
hurt on their own, yeah, that's what I don't.
So we carry liability insurance for the programming that we do. So if anyone gets hurt under our supervision because of something that we've done or they've done, then that's under our umbrella. The property is your umbrella,
Yeah.
and then of course the inspection is the inspector's umbrella. So there's some shared liability in all of this, but
Yeah, I guess what we're trying to figure out is, when we first talked about it, we were told, oh, it's done through the school, but it's on rec property. So how are we involved? How is the school involved? Maybe it's time to pull the school out of it and just have it as a rec sponsored event, or not event, a
Yeah, we
sponsored.
charge the school to use it.
so
Yeah.
historically,
$30,000.
I can summarize hopefully quickly. Historically, there was a recreation grant that was secured in 2000. And so when I came from Londonderry to work at Campbell, when they opened the school, part of me coming, Dick Raftery was on the board, the rec board, and later became on the school board. But a number of the people said, if you want to come, we'd love to have you work at the school, but gee, if you could build something, we have great trees and blah, blah, blah. So it became a shared thing where being the phys ed teacher and athletic director was like, okay, we don't have trees around Campbell other than the perimeter trees. Let's walk over to the park. And in that initial grant, there was money. It was an $18,000 grant that purchased the materials to build it. I was the builder, and it also bought all the equipment. So originally, the town owned all the helmets, the harnesses, ropes, and all of that stuff. And as time moved on, and the school was the prime user, the school wound up buying more helmets because there were more kids in classes. So when you look at our inventory, you have, the town rec department owns like 16 helmets. The school owns these 16 helmets because they bought more as they went along. All the hardware, the carabiners and steel quick links and all of that stuff belong to the town. And all of the ropes, because after 5 years, they have to be replaced, was on the school's dime as far as being replaced as time went along. And then also with the harnesses. At one time, we had like 30-something harnesses that were owned by the rec department. Now, there are none left because we've
They aged out.
surpassed the age for them, and now the school owns all those harnesses. So it's. I don't think there's a place in the state that has this type of relationship. And when I explain it to people, they go, "How do you keep everything straight?" So as long as I still have my mind, I can still remember what belonged here and what belonged there, because the recreation really came forth in town. I mean, they had the course, and then we also got that big grant from the county to build the climbing wall in the school for recreational needs. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that have been put in place now, whether and how much they're used is pretty questionable now.
Now, from your standpoint, would you prefer it be solely under one?
That's
entity,
what I was,
like
where
the
do you
school
see this
or
going
rec?
and where do
I
you think
mean-
it should be?
Well,
We would like to see the program continue in whatever.
yeah,
But it has to have an inspection. Otherwise, it would just sit there
Right.
unused and kind of rot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it was our understanding that the reduced budget for the inspection was a temporary thing, and so we're hoping that that is indeed the case, and then that will return. It seems like some of that money was used for COVID things, which is completely understandable. So it's this negotiation between the school and the inspectors and trying to figure out how we can get the course inspected so we can continue to operate it. Long term, even if we aren't able to inspect it and use it this year, if that budget does return, then the school district might still continue to pay for that. If it just the whole thing comes under the recreations umbrella and we can find a way to fund the annual inspection and house the equipment and do all that stuff through the recreation department, then the program is still able to continue. And I think either way, that the course is still there and available for folks in town, be it the school district or the scouts or any other community members. I think that's great. I don't know that it matters, at least to me, I don't want to speak for Coach, how we get there.
yeah.
So
All
would you
the-
like to see an increase in use in groups of people, or are you happy where it's at,
Oh,
where you're at right now? Or-
personally, that was the biggest issue that we had trying to promote how to get people. I remember John saying to us, well, you could put stuff on the rec website and we had lists and you might be able to utilize that. And that never really took part. But I know hanging in the air doing maintenance and people walking through, they go, oh my gosh, they actually do something out here,
Yeah,
or
no signs or anything. And then I noticed some new stuff. So it looks like there's room even for expansion, maybe.
Yeah,
Well, we just-
obviously,
Or-
it's
I
a
mean-
public park, so I mean, we have to be cognizant of
Right.
the other uses that are out there. But yeah, we added some things in the bounds of the low course is probably what you
Yeah.
noticed. That was 2 years
I
ago.
mean, and then that was, in one way, I remember years ago, the board wanted us to fence off the area so they actually had to stake it out
Great
and
stakes
rope it
and rope.
off.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because after I did it, like the next day, all the stakes were pulled out. So, I mean, so we've tried to
We understand
leave
that.
the low course stripped. And when it's being used, we go out there and set it up and take it down at the end of the day. And I know when we were doing classwork with the school, a few of the instructors that I worked with goes, this is a lot of work. You have to come out here early, set it up, and then take it down before the end of the day. Yeah, but it was worth it because the kids had something that a lot of the kids within the immediate area never had. I mean, to the point, and I don't know if the board's aware of this, that one of the students actually built an element under my supervision as his senior project. So when you walk out there and you see this railroad bridge that goes in the intermediate course, when you look up, you'll see the wires and then there's ties go across. We call it Austin's Bridge. And he did that. And he was going to college to be an engineer and he wanted to do something. And I thought that was so cool that somebody would do that. The equipment currently is all stored in the big outdoor shed in the corner out there. So, I mean, if the rec took it over, I have no idea where you'd house it. Because I know years ago, Brian Colton of Reeds Ferry Sheds had a shed that he donated for his senior project where the tables were once stored. I don't even know if that shed has been replaced because I don't know how long the
What do you think the annual cost to run and support this would be?
well, the big ticket issue is the inspection. And the inspections have gone up because of the insurance industry.
Yeah.
So
The inspectors, yeah.
I mean, every 5 years we have to replace the ropes. And
Anything nylon, so ropes, harnesses, honestly helmets as well, because they have foam parts to them that retire. So
because I'd like to pull it back under the rec. Obviously, the rec's budget compared to the school budget is,
A rounding error.
yeah, rounding error.
So the arrangement that we've done in the past is we essentially pull a course fee for outside groups that come in. It's not something that we do for groups in town because of what the town puts into the course. So we pull a course fee for outside groups, and we put aside that money and use that for upkeep and maintenance. So essentially, the more traffic the course sees, the more money there is to be able to put into these things.
Right.
But being able to have a baseline budget to at least have it inspected and upkeep costs. Your question of what is the annual cost? I think if you take the nylon products that have that retirement schedule and spread it out, to come to an annual number, you're probably around $2,000. Would you say $2,000 a year?
That's with
for
the
inspection plus maintenance costs.
yeah, I would imagine.
I mean, equipment replacement.
Because the equipment replacement is not anywhere near as costly as the annual inspection.
Right.
What are you getting back when you charge these outside groups? Ballpark.
50. We do $50 a day. We do a per diem rate, and so right now there's a lot of one-off groups. Hey, we'd love to come do a single day program, and our outside group volume. We have to go back a couple of years because of COVID. We haven't really done much through that, so it wasn't huge. I think that there's definitely room for growth there.
Were you charging $50 a day for the whole group, per person?
So that was the course fee. So we would obviously pay the staff. And so, that was just, we would put that on top, and that money would get put aside towards course maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, we'll put it together tomorrow.
Right.
I'm amazed, groups know about it, because I live in town, and I've wondered, how do I go about finding someone? If I want to put together a group, if I want to get somebody to come do this with me, and I look and there's no signs or phone numbers.
Some sort of medium in town that could post this on the internet, right?
Yeah, it might be one or two. We managed to put a concert together.
It's so helpful to be able to get that out. The last time I remember that the town used the course was when they had their winter fling several years ago, and they set up the low course. Remember that?
Yeah, that was.
And
I feel like that was
there was
5 or 6
I
years
don't
ago
know
now.
how big of an attendance, but to me that was a big deal because the course was being used.
So what sort of certifications do you need as a course instructor, if you will, to?
Sure. So there's essentially 3 levels of certification: basic operation. What I would consider a level 2 is, I would say, a supervisor, site supervisor, and level 3 would be considered like a manager, course manager certification. And yeah, there's varying degrees, like level 1 low ropes, level 1 high ropes, and all these things that allow you to be able to, hey, I'd like to hire you to come into our day because I have a big group on the low ropes. You know how to run a low ropes element. Oh, the what ifs happen. You need that level 2 person. They're trained in rescues and site management and larger group management. And then your manager obviously is making those management decisions. What kind of ropes do we buy? How many ropes do we need in order to operate the course? And so those are essentially the certification levels. And those certification levels are set out by the standards agencies that are out there. So we see that from our vendors that do the inspection, generally also offer trainings to certify at those levels.
So the inspection is, you said 1,000 to 1,300. That's full price. That's not the diminished cost that you're talking about.
Right. The school district told us that they had $300 to put towards it this year.
Okay.
So that obviously none of the local inspectors could do that.
Yeah. You don't want to have an inspection that's
right.
Okay, interesting. We just happen to be in budget season.
Do we have any line items we could get it inspected this year?
I know.
We
Well,
just put
this-
on a concert 2 weeks ago, and we managed in 10 days to sell 905 tickets. We had almost 1,000 people at Dara Pond.
Wow.
And a lot of it was, we had over 500 tickets sold just through Facebook. So I think this is something that if we really invest into, we could, bring it back to the rec and start doing some really good
Yeah,
things with
that
it.
would be so wonderful. 'Cause, I mean, that was the whole thing of we have something that many towns don't have.
Yep.
And even like going back to the school, you have something in the school program that most schools don't have around here.
Yeah.
And to utilize.
Add in having Jeff Town on the Scouts is another avenue. I
Yeah.
think Judy's into jungle gyms and swinging on ropes and flipping tires and all that
I
crazy
think
stuff.
we offer a lot of team sport oriented
Yeah.
things for
She
young
does the
kids all the
Spartan
way up.
races and all
But we
that
don't
stuff.
have a lot for kids who aren't into the team sports or
Mhm.
even for
Conference
adults. I don't. Part of the reason I got involved is because I do want to see more for maybe older kids, older people, not just rec is for kid
Basketball,
leagues.
baseball.
And I think we have a great resource there, but we really had no idea about who really owns part of this, or how do you go about running it, or what does it still exist? And
Yeah.
it is a great, it's a great
Now,
feature to have.
The last big
But-
event that we did for the school
Mhm.
was besides the classes. I just last spring had the Fit for Life class out there in May, but the last thing was Principal Lundgren has a freshman academy, and prior to the pandemic, we worked for like 5 or 6 years in a row where we took 125 of the freshmen. It wasn't the full freshman class, but
There
we
was a
had
time
them
where they
for a
had-
day. Yeah.
When they started the freshman academy, they had, I think, 30 or 40% enrollment in the program. There was a few years where they had close to 90% enrollment. So it was
Yeah.
almost the whole
Yeah.
freshman class.
So that was the last event. And what we wound up doing was a lot of games and team building, and then went into the low ropes course. And so they spent the entire day. It was a great kickoff for them. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, that's been put on hold. And it will probably come back in the near future. But to try to service, whomever, it could be a team building session where they don't go up in the air, or it could possibly be some group wants to come in for 4 hours and only do the high course. So, this is how you put the harness on, this is how the equipment goes, and up you go doing whatever we've decided to do with the group, depending upon what the group is trying to get.
Do you
for an outcome.
do you believe the school would be willing to donate the equipment to you and then we take it under the rec? Would they be willing to relinquish
they-
the control?
I would assume, and this is totally an assumption,
Yep.
that they'd be more willing to donate the equipment to you.
To the rec, right.
Yeah. I don't know that they would give it to
Right,
us.
well,
but-
it'll be a rec sponsored. What I'm thinking about, make it kind of like basketball, baseball.
There's a few more hoops to have to jump to.
Oh, God,
besides
yeah, I know that.
the equipment donated.
Yeah.
I mean, and the pure fact is, if the whole basis of the school doing functions there, but not assuming any sort of the
Cost.
responsibility for it or
Yeah.
cost for it, now it becomes one of those balancing acts with, okay, how do we talk to the school board and about that?
we didn't even
the
know
major
where-
costs.
what our liability or
Correct,
property
and that's-
part was
and that's-
even at this
right
point,
now,
like
right.
who's
We gotta go
who's
climax,
responsible
figure
for
out
the
what's going
insurance of
on.
this? Or-
That was always the thing. That was part of the class, or that was part of the event that was going to happen.
Right.
And the school, because they did the annual inspection,
Mhm.
it was like, okay, you made your quote donation,
Right.
but now if you take it under your auspice, what are you going to charge the school to come and do what they've done in the past?
The real difference in cost for the school and town programs has essentially been that course usage fee, right? Because we're still paying the staff to run the program, And so you take away that course usage fee, and that would be the discount on the program.
Right.
So if the school district, I think the simple solution would be if the school district has no investment in the course, then they pay the course usage fee for every day that they're out there operating. And that gets worked into the price of what the program costs.
That's what I would think as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it almost sounds like we could run this like one of the baseball, softball, basketball leagues where, and then some of the money goes to pay into the revolving fund so that we can pay for the licensing and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, it'd be that fee, that $50 or whatever it is would go in, and that would be then earmarked back around to upkeep equipment, replace equipment, and pay for the fee.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad you came in.
Yeah, we got a lot of
It's so funny.
layers of the onion to
This
peel apart.
afternoon, I got an email from the athletic director saying, when are you coming in to do the classes? And when I was in the spring, they said, well, there's no classes until the spring. So it's like, oh, something must have happened. So unfortunately, when I go in, there's an indoor course in the gym that I built, and we can do the indoor stuff, but it's going to have to stop there because we can't use the outdoor course until it's actually inspected and any repairs that need to be done. Because normally what we do is once the inspection report comes in, we look at it and go, okay, these are the repairs we have to do. Up we go, get the repairs done, take the pictures on the repairs, send them off to the inspectors and get a stamp of approval. So there it is. But that was so timely. So thank you very much for having us.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Contact information?
Ryan is going to be the main person.
Absolutely. Yes, I can give you my contact. My phone number is 603-203-9011.
Is that the best way to contact you? Like phone text?
That's a pretty good way to contact me.
You just said that on public television, just so you know.
Oh.
Okay?
Feels getting old right now.
There's some women out there looking.
The whole half is watching this.
Yeah, he doesn't have a ring on.
Send donations so we can get it inspected.
Only
and then-
disposes the people in this room. Anyway, they tuned
Perhaps
out
my
at about
voicemail box will be full.
Way too long. We're off. Check and make sure it's still.
I was gonna get it for you off the record, but.
Fair enough. I can give you the rest off the record. Forget where I am sometimes.
Actually, if you can just email to the RC, email the RC at Litchfield,
Mhm.
NewHampshireGov.gov, because then everyone will have it, and we'll have it. And
Sure. Yeah.
you
You can
grab
pass
it
all
from
that
there.
information along.
Perfect. Thank you guys for coming in.
Well,
I think
thank
thank
you
you
very
all.
much for having us.
Thank you. We'll pursue this.
Does anyone have any other questions that they come up in that we can field? No.
I feel a lot better about it. I literally
Yeah.
knew nothing
Yeah.
about that ropes course.
And I
I've
never
seen
saw
it
anybody
100
on. I'd go out there and just see it. And
seen it 100 times. I never knew.
But you do realize now that you have this information, and just like I did years and years, I always had the local school board in Londonderry when I was working in Londonderry, and we had our big course there. The school board always came out. So now the rec commission needs to come out, whether it's
I'd
the
love to.
high or the lows,
Yeah.
and spend some time out there so you have.
Gotta have some
hands-on
strong ropes. 'Cause look
Send
at this
Steve
big
up
man.
first to inspect.
Exactly
I'll
how high
go.
is the
I'll
low
volunteer.
course?
The low course is about this high.
That's good for me.
Even then, right?
We'll
Send
see.
Steve up to inspect.
The last-
Yeah.
The last time I was on the zip line platform with one of the students getting ready to go down, and they said, "How high is this?" And I said, "We're about 3 or 4 stories in the air." And they looked at me and I said, "How do you live in a ranch or do you live in a colony where you have 2 floors?" Well, we're already 2 more floors over your house. And the kid eventually went down. But anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you so
for having
much.
me.
Thanks, appreciate it. All right, we'll try to go through the last couple things real quickly. Old business, 2022 budget. I sat down with Troy last week, presented to the Board of Selectmen. We went over everything. A lot of it is pretty much level funded. We have some areas that we can improve. Like we realize that we're burning a lot of electricity at Talent, even though nobody was in the building. I expected us to see a significant drop, and I think it went down maybe $400 or something. So we need to definitely approach that, get rid of that water heater, make some changes.
We got to put thermostats on the electric heat. Because those
yes.
things are cranking
Yep.
all the time.
And if we move,
It's the
get rid
warmest
of-
part of the building in the wintertime.
Yep. Yep.
Go to the
that's-
bathroom.
We definitely need some upgrades. I mentioned to Troy or I talked to Troy, he said we're going to be getting some COVID money and we may be able to use some of that money to replace the faucets and the sinks with touchless.
Nice.
I know we've had this conversation, we're throwing good money at bad money, but one day when Jeff and I were in the building, we could hear a toilet running.
Yeah.
So-
It does it all the time. The sink trips, the toilet runs.
Yeah. So if we can get some COVID money to make some upgrades to maintain the building, I think, maybe we'd save some money. We'll just put solar panels on the roof. Town Hall deck work. So the Air National Guard is already out there. They already tore off the old deck. I went out there today and they already have the piers in place. There's probably 6 or 8 of them. I'm going to pick up 5 gallons of paint tomorrow and they're going to paint the back side of the wall where the stairs are. We no longer have to have the emergency fire escapes. I worked with the building inspector and we can get rid of those outside escapes as long as the inside staircases are brought up to code. One of them just needs new treads put on. Your steps need a nose on front of it. The other one, they are going to pretty much rebuild them because the rise and run is too short. And then the platform at the bottom is too small. So they're going to take the door out and we could build out the door and whatever else later on. So it's the one above the kitchen that's going to be completely rebuilt. And they're going to take care of that work, no problem. They basically just moved from doing it outside to doing it inside. And he was okay with that.
Do we even need a door? It's going to be storage. I mean, do you even really need a door?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a question.
I'm going to say
Kids.
yes, because you have kids
Kids
running
running
around in
around.
there all the time. You mean, not just the kids playing, but kids watching. So if without doors, they're going to be up and down those stairs.
Yeah, so we might want to start locking them again. And then for now, we're going to, so if we do those kind of things, then we could lose all the exterior wings on back deck. The deck is going to be 15 feet wide, 8 feet deep, and it's going to be all pressure treated. I mentioned over time, we might want to put a roof on. So the commander with the Air National Guard said that he'll keep that in mind as he's building it. So that work's already started. Soccer post at Dara. You got that welded, right?
All fixed.
Awesome.
And I sent you guys the quote for the
$130.
bleachers. Yeah.
Thank you.
Email response schedule. This is something we need to get back into that where previously.
I had no idea. For some reason, I thought in my head, I thought I might have this month, but I still have no idea who has this month.
Well, so I was talking to Steve before the meeting briefly. I said, let's just pick them again. And then I'm going to make an Excel sheet with everybody's name in it. And
Can we just put it on the shared drive?
that's what we'll do. Put it on the shared drive. And that way now you can refer to something because I forget too.
Yep. Yeah. And then I've been answering a lot just because I don't want them to sit. And we've had a lot of requests coming in.
A lot of them. So
You have?
Steve, do you want to finish September since you already started it?
Yeah. Why
So
not?
Steve, who wants October?
Oh, I'll take the fun.
That's going to be
Oh yeah, that's
a
brutal one.
I know.
That's good because Mike has the background. So thank you, Mike.
November. I'll take November. December.
I'll take December.
It's a short month. Everyone's on vacation, Christmas.
That's not true. Then you guys have getting some new ones in.
January.
I'll take it.
February.
Sure.
Steve Weber.
So what this is when we get emails in,
Yeah.
we need, we're going to have somebody once a month. I'll have 1 month, you'll have 1 month.
Okay.
And then you just got to engage, respond, let them know.
Okay.
So
March. You want March?
Yeah. Do you want alternates on there?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Give Jeff the last one.
And Jeff will be April, and then we'll start over again.
Yep.
Andy too.
Oh,
Andy Collins. So yeah, I forgot. And then we might actually have a new member too, Michelle.
Yep.
So
Well,
hopefully,
we'll just go that for now.
All right.
And I'll make this tomorrow.
thank you. Playground repair. I have the parts. I haven't had the time. There are 3 guys in town that said they will help out. Steve also suggested we get a hold of Kevin Burns and have him go out there
Brown.
with Kevin Brown. keep saying Burns.
That's Chris Burns.
Chris Burns. No, Kevin Burns used to be the Hudson road agent. Kevin Brown get out there with the backhoe and kind of help push the pole back into place until we could, dig around and put cement and then secure it.
He can even help dig around it with the backhoe if you need it.
Could he? You get in that tight?
He's pretty good with it.
The parts are inside Talent. The 2 brand new rails and all the hardware to mount them. So if anybody wants to help out with that, please let me know, and we will try to get some guys down there.
Help in 3 weekends.
In 3 weekends?
Yes.
I'm kind of in the same boat at this point. Anything else?
2 things. One,
Okay.
I'm going to go back to this again. The mowing around Sawmill. Ryan jumped down there and did like a little bit behind the backboard and some other areas, which is great. I think he did the entryway into Innis as well.
Yep.
But that also, like Sawmill, like legitimately the entire, like it's mowed up to the tennis courts. And then after the tennis courts, all the sides are all long around the field, like around the outside, like on the other side of the access road is long. Like I'm talking chest height at this point.
All right, let me talk to the road agent because they've been the ones doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, it's like that stuff is so thin. Like it realistically just needs to be done once or twice a year. I mean, it's not something that has to be done. It's legitimately once or twice a year. The other thing is, I guess I got 2 more things. The dumpsters, how often are they getting emptied?
When we call, right?
No. I'm actually going the other way because
Frequency?
Yeah.
I think they're getting dumped
once a month. Twice a month?
Twice a month, I think.
Twice a month?
I believe
Like
it's twice a month.
Okay. Because at one point I emptied stuff in there for Sawmill. I was back like 5 days later and it was gone. And I'm like,
so it was the cycle probably. You hit
right.
at
It's
the
just
right
so I don't know the usage at the baseball, the softball fields, but like Dara maybe twice a month, but like I don't know if Sawmill really needs to be emptied
No,
twice
but
a
I
month.
think it's just the price.
It's just the way it is.
The cadence when they come
Okay.
through the area.
And that's fine.
So even if we moved it to once on the rate we're getting, I don't think we're gonna get a cheaper
Okay,
rate.
that's fine.
What we're trying to do too is get rid of the one at Dara and put a smaller one in.
Right.
And basically, for the cost of the one at Dara, we'll cover all 4.
Okay.
And then if we need to,
just do the loop.
yeah, and if we need to at Dara, we'll
And
call
trash
them.
barrels, were we supposed to be getting new ones?
We do. We have 7 so far. There's 5 more that are back ordered.
Right.
2 of them did come in the other day. There's still
Okay.
3 more back ordered.
Okay.
So right now, I believe all 7 of the new ones are down at Talent.
Yep.
2 of the other ones are still down at the transfer station.
Mhm.
He was going to give them to Kevin Brown to drop off, I think, at Talent.
Okay.
Then once the other 3 come in, we can figure out where we want to put them up.
Do you need some at Sawmill?
We have the couple sets of Sawmill, but it's always like we were actually soccer itself was actually at one point before this all came up was going to go buy 2 more because just to kind of lower the volume in that one barrel right by
Well,
the
the
entrance.
Sawmill being used so much now, you might want to take a couple more. and put
Yeah,
them
I was gonna
down.
say I'll grab a
I
couple.
can grab them. I mean, they're the ones right out along the fence there, right?
Yep, brand new with the covers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna order some loops and a lock so that the covers cost more than barrels.
Oh, yes. I mean,
Loops and locks, and then we could
you
secure.
buy 2 barrels for the price of the cover.
Yeah.
So, Steve, go take a look down at Jeff Lane or Corning and look at the locking system.
I
there.
did.
Did
I
you?
Yeah.
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 Jim Spots came up with a good idea on how to lock it. The only thing we're locking is the cover because we don't want to lose the cover.
Yeah. But yeah, there's grab whatever you need at
Okay.
Talent. We pulled them out for the concert that
Right.
night.
Yeah, I know. It was
Also, how long are those?
Border potties are supposed to only be there for the weekend. They haven't come and got them yet. So
Okay, we're not
we only
paying
paid for that time. So
Okay.
if you got to go there.
I wasn't too sure if maybe they were.
Oh, we could probably have it picked up at Jeff Lane.
Yeah, but to the point now, we might be able to go to some of the field. Corning and Jeff Lane, we can remove them.
And then the other thing is,
Or will there be fall ball at?
I'm sorry.
Nope, it's all out of
Okay.
town. Yeah.
Sorry. I mean,
So the other thing was schedules for baseball and softball because there are days I'm driving by Dara and I just see teams out there at night practicing, and I have no idea who's out there
Tuesday night, Wednesday night.
on
There's 2 teams practicing Tuesday nights,
Right.
and there's 1 team practicing
Is
Wednesday
that on the
night.
schedule?
softball. Yeah, is that on the schedule?
It just got it put out.
Formal
you just-
request?
are you taking it
Have I
upon
seen a-
yourself?
Have I seen a formal request yet? I
No, I don't
mean,
think so.
we're making people kind of like, and here's the thing though, we're making everyone else come in to request stuff.
Yep.
So everyone should
no, I agree. Absolutely.
come in to request
to
stuff.
be.
Do we have LMS's request for Dara to use the soccer field every day?
Yes.
Is that really it? I haven't
That
seen that
ended.
one.
That should have ended.
There was a game there last night.
Yeah, like the ropes course when they're doing something.
Well, didn't they submit?
No,
Didn't they
they
submit the request?
Yeah, they did,
They
but
did?
I thought I don't remember when it was going to.
Okay, so that was up. I think I don't know if I sent you an email about that. They apparently were waiting for their approval of the full request.
I thought we approved it last meeting, right?
Yeah.
Didn't we?
I thought it was.
Or 2 meetings ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Then LMS request goes through the end of October.
I was joking.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm like, I did question why they were there why they had a 5:15 game.
So what I'm trying to do is I want all the leagues to come in front of us, bring their latest insurance policy, bring all the paperwork.
Right, no,
and then FaceTime, and then we could get to know who it is, what are they doing,
So
and we know who they are.
it's Blast.
No, it's fall softball.
So
Litchfield
rec
Girls fall softball. There's one 8U team and there's 2 10U teams.
So who should we email about that? All right, we need a request.
I can fill a request. I can give you our insurance. I can give you the kids safe. I can give you everything.
Should we just take care of it now?
Most certainly can. It's all loaded into the system. If you go to litchfieldgirlssoftball.com, go to this calendar, it'll show you every game, every practice.
Anything else, Mike?
No.
Nope. Anybody else?
Just one thing. I just wanted to say that the Justin Bissett Memorial dedication was last weekend. It was an awesome event. Very emotional, very
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a tear.
But the family was very appreciative of everything that this town has done and just wanted to pass on the thank you. So
we did the concert, no issues, no problems at all. We raised some really good money, as you can see tonight. Took 11 Litchfield students out shopping last Wednesday at the mall with Chaos and Kindness. There was a total of 62, and they handed them all $300 gift cards and a list of stores that were offering huge discounts. So it was kind of neat. And I think we put into the coffers, we're going to probably have about $2,500 profit, which could maybe help take care of. But all that's going to the revolving fund. I have 2 more checks to give them. So it was very good. No issues, no complaints. I don't know how the neighbors felt about it. I don't think it was that loud. But I've heard nothing but positive results, and then possibly do it again next year. And I wanted to use it as setting a precedence that maybe we could start renting out the field for these kind of things, have concerts. Jeff got in touch with Londonderry, and they have Friday night concert series or something where they'll have a band and they'll just have people come in, and hang around the field. I think it would be a great use of the fields during the summer.
And from a fundraising standpoint for softball, through concessions, like $1,800 we raised.
Yeah,
really
nice
good.
way to start the season.
It was well needed.
Well needed.
It was well needed.
But it worked out well. Anything else?
Is the playground that's fully repaired now?
No.
It's not.
No, your ratchet straps are holding. I haven't been able to get back there to do it. That's what I was saying earlier. I do have the parts. I just don't have the time.
If you want to give them the mail, do them Friday night.
Friday night? Okay. Yeah, they're right inside Town Hall.
Oh, they are?
Yep, go inside the door and there's a box.
You want to do Friday after practice?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, we'll do them.
Will you be able to get the tractor down there? Actually, the Air National Guard's down there with their tractor. They might be able to push it. The problem is the slide's pulling away. And if we just bolt it back up, it's a matter of time where it pulls again. So what I think we have to do is dig down on the base of the slide, push it back into place, put a bunch of cement, and cement has to be down pretty deep because you can't have kids knocking their heads on it. Put it back into place and then put the replacement parts on. And I think it'll be.
When we talked to Kevin, when we did the flagpole, he said the same thing. You have to dig it out, push it back up, cement it in, backfill it in to do it.
Okay.
Because he was down there looking at it when we did the plywood and everything for it. Yeah, and he said the same thing. Got to dig it up, but he's willing to help us out.
Yeah. And the parts are the ones that are broken. These are red, so they gave me a discount.
Okay.
But all the hardware and whatever else is needed to mount them is in the boxes.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
You got discount for red parts?
He said I don't have the tan ones. It might take several months. It's like I got red. I'm like, I'll take the red.
Okay.
Oh, also, I asked him about ADA compliant swings. He gave me a quote. We have that bar that is sitting there doing nothing. I think it's like $1,600 for 2 swings. One is a big swing that has the bracket that comes over, and another one's just a big belt swing, like $1,600. Next meeting, I'll bring it up and I'll show the quote, and we'll vote on if we want to do
I
it.
think we still have money on that line item.
Yes.
Playground apparatus. Good
Yep.
time to use it.
Buy them in red, did they come at a discount?
I'll find out. Everything will be red. All right. How about a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
700. Thank you. Sorry for a late.